Good evening. This is Elder G. This is Wednesday, August 12th, 2026. God can woke us up one more time. God can start us on our way. God can close us in our right mind. And I hope and pray that all our limbs are working properly. I want to talk tonight to black folk, to Native Americans, and to Mexicans. I'm going to start out with the black folks. Oh, I want you to think about something, and I want you to think hard, not just black folk, but the Mexicans and also the Native Americans. I consider the Mexicans and the Native Americans to be the same people. They just lived in different parts of North America, but they're the same people as far as I'm concerned. Black folks that we know are the people that was brought here by the Europeans. The people that build ships that's running North America right now, and they built slave ships, and they sail across the ocean, and they hunted us down like animals. Men, women, and children. Think about this. Mothers and fathers. Husbands and wives. Grandfathers and grandmothers. One day, they left home and they never came back. Just imagine if your child, your son, your daughter, or your husband, or your wife, or your parents, or your grandparents left home this morning and they never came back. They wasn't dead. They wasn't lost. They was taken. And I'm sure at that time that African people had boats. But for some reason, they didn't come sailing after the people that took us. I don't know what that reason is. All I know is they never came for my ancestors. They never came. I know that. Now I know why. Because I can see it in the blacks and the Mexicans and the Native Americans. I can see it. A lot of blacks and Native Americans and Mexicans, they ain't nothing but cowards. That's how come we get in the situation that we in, because they always want somebody else to deal with the problem. They don't want to deal with the problem themselves. They say we got the crab mentality, right? That's what the prejudice white people say. Because they say we eat each other. That's what they say. They say we eat our own. See, a crowd mentality is when you get a big old bucket or you get a big old basket and you get a bucket full of crabs or you get a basket full of crabs, and you put the crabs in the bucket and you put them in the basket. And what the crabs do is they crawl up the back of other crabs until they form a mound. And eventually, some of the crabs are going to get to the top of the bucket. And they're going to get an opportunity to be free. But as soon as the crab at the top of the bucket get free, the other crab come up behind them and pull them back down into the bucket. That's what a crab mentality is that you could have saved half of the crabs in the bucket. But you were so busy just worried about yourself, and if you didn't get saved, ain't nobody gonna get saved. See, that's a crab mentality. You notice the military, when you go to training, they train you that what you're doing is such an honorable thing that you be willing to die for what they taught you. You willing to climb a hill when somebody is at the top of the hill with a machine gun shooting down at you. You still try to take that hill. And if you keep on sending enough reinforcements, eventually you're going to take that hill. But you may lose 1 million people's lives in the process. See, sometimes dying is honorable. See, when you love people the way that Jesus tells you to love people, when Jesus tells you that you're supposed to love your enemy, and Jesus tells you that you're supposed to keep your enemy closer than a brother. So what he telling you is, sometime you may have to team up with some people that you used to consider to be your enemy. Because the same spot that you in is the same spot that they in too. Y'all may fall out with each other once y'all have the victory. But as long as you in the fight and you're fighting to win, you're going to put all that animosity and all that dislike to the side until you destroy your enemy. That's called teamwork. That's called working together as a team. See, God gave us a leader above all leaders. God say that this leader that he picked to lead us to victory and to lead us to salvation, God called this leader Lord of Lords. And God called him King of Kings. God say, ain't no mountain too high. Ain't no valley too low. Ain't no river too wide for Christ to come out victoriously. Christ came down through 42 generations to die for the sins of the world, even though he had committed no sin. Not that we loved him, because we didn't. It's that he loved us first. And he became the propitiation for our sin while we were still yet in our sin. Jesus died for us. And he went to hell for 3 days and 3 nights to defeat the devil and to set the captives free. We in a crossroad right now where our own federal government, the president, the vice president, the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court, those are all the people that we pay. We pay the president. We pay the vice president. They work for us. We don't work for them. And they're going to tell us. The slave is going to tell the master what to do. The master is living in the big house, and the slave is living in the big house, and the master is living in the slave house. We pay them to look out for us and to protect us and protect our money. We give them an army, a navy, and an air force and marine. We give them planes and ships and everything to protect our civil rights at all costs. The Constitution is numero uno. That means the Constitution is Lord of Lords and King of Kings in America. The Constitution in America reigns supreme. We have a president that's taken rights away from black and brown people and women. Not because we breaking laws. Not because we disobedient to the Constitution of the United States of America. Because we are not. We are getting taxed by our own government that we pay without a cause. That's our enemy. Our own federal government is taking our money and trying to take away our civil rights, our voting rights. With our own money. We are the bosses. They are the employees. Ain't nowhere in the Bible that tell you that you have to let them do that. There is nowhere in the Constitution that says you have to let them do that. There is nothing written in the Constitution that tells you that somebody got more rights than you just because of the color of their skin. If you trying to tell me that, I'm going to tell you right to your face. You ain't nothing but a liar. Show me. Show me in the Constitution where one man is better than another man. Or one woman is better than another woman, or one child is better than another one. That ain't what the Constitution says. The Constitution says we are equal. As soon as Donald Trump tried to take away my rights, as soon as the Supreme Court took away the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act, affirmative action, the Supreme Court became my enemy. The Supreme Court, which is supposed to protect my Constitution, is the very one that is coming against my Constitution, and that cannot stand. It cannot stand. There is two things that we cannot have in this country. We can't have a republic and have either one of these two things. We can't hold on to a republic if we got a dictator or a king. Anyone that's trying to be a dictator or a king is the enemy of God. They're the enemy of Christ. And they are an enemy of the Constitution of the United States of America. President Trump is in violation. He swore an oath not only to us, he swore an oath to God and Christ. So help him God, he said. And he turned out to be nothing but a liar. And what did the people do? Black people, why are you sitting around sucking up to dictators and white supremacists? Let me tell you some history here. 1619 is when that prejudiced white man brought his first slave to North America. It wasn't black people here now living with the Native Americans. 1619, they came here with 20 black people. For 240 years, you didn't have the right to vote. You didn't have the right to bear arms. You didn't have the freedom of speech. You couldn't petition your government because you didn't have no government. You had an owner. You couldn't practice your religion until the late 1800s. Then it took another 100 and some years just for us to get our civil rights. That's over 340 years right there. Then we marched enough, we screamed enough, and we died enough. In the mid-60s, they passed the Civil Rights Act. And then right after that, they passed the Voting Rights Act, where you had the freedom to speak and all that stuff. We only got that in the 60s, around the mid-60s. So say you got 65, 75, right? 85, right? 95, right? 2005, right? 2015, right? 2025, right? Around 50 years. So from 1619 all the way up to now, we have never got our full freedom. And from 60s, the mid-60s till now, less than 50 years, you done lost your civil rights, the most important part of that law. The Voting Rights Act, you done lost the most important part of that law. They took away the Affirmative Act so you can have equal footing in college. They done took it all away. All the black and the brown people that died in that short time, you done lost three things that it took 300 years to get. You done lost it from 65 till now. That's kind of weak, ain't it? This is the weakest black and brown generation that ever lived. When people didn't have no freedom, didn't have no rights, they died. They hung on trees. They were burned at the stake. Our women was raped over a 300-year period of abuse, and you're going to lose it. From 65 to 2026. That's the weakest generation of black and brown people that ever existed in North America. At the rate that you gone, we'll be back enslaved by 2028. Because y'all have became selfish. Y'all been lifted up in pride. Just because some of y'all got a nice job and you got a nice car and a nice house. You may have a white girl. You got some nice clothes. And you still got that crowd mentality. I got mine. Get yours. That's that crowd mentality. If you keep this up, I'm 69 years. I'm going to go home soon. I'm not sick or nothing, but God only promised me 70 years. I only got one more year promise. I hope and pray I live to that 120. But God only promised me 70 years. So I got 1 year promise left. So I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best to shine light into darkness, that my brothers and sisters in Christ may see, and that they may come running, asking, what must I do to be saved? If you lose your freedom now, and it took us almost 300 years and we still not fully free, that means that you, your children, and your grandchildren, and your great-great-grandchildren could live with no freedom because you're weak. I didn't say you won't kill nobody. I didn't say you won't fight. I didn't say you won't lie. I said that you weak in faith. You don't have the cojones to stand up for Christ, to stand up for justice, to stand up for freedom, to stand up for righteousness, to stand up against a bully. Nobody is better than you. Nobody have more rights than you. And you that's sitting there like a wimp and you're not willing to fight for your freedom. We ain't asking for no more rights than them. All we asking for is a level field. And we're going to fight until we get it. You're going to either give us liberty or you're going to give us death. I'm not speaking for everybody else. I'm speaking for myself. You're gonna give me liberty or you're going to give me death. Ain't nobody better than me. God don't love nobody more than me. The Constitution is blind. They don't care what color you are, or where you fall, or what language you speak, or who you love, or what God you worship. Or whether you rich or poor, the Constitution don't care nothing about that. The Constitution is supposed to focus on the law and what the law say only. The time has come where you got to make a choice. I made mine, and I chose Christ. Whatever choice you make, if you choose the devil, I don't care who you are, you have become my enemy. Because the devil is my enemy. If you choose to go against the Constitution, you are against God, you are against Christ, you're against the Constitution. If you against those three things, guess what? You against me too. That's why almost every time I come on, I give people an invitation for them to come to Jesus, just like they are. Eventually, that precious white man is coming. All you gotta do is look at his 500 years of history. He's scared right now. He's got rabies. He's going wild because he's getting ready to be the minority. When somebody got the rabies, they can't think clear. They become very dangerous. That president white man, he's got rabies right now. Very dangerous. That president white man is going to get millions and millions of people dead. Not because someone is doing something against them. They're doing it because of hate of people, because of the color of their skin, or what language they speak, or who they love. That's kind of sad, ain't it? That they ran this country in the ground for 500 years. Now they want to start a civil war because them had a 500-year head start and they still lost. That's a dangerous man right there. When he done did everything he could, he done had every advantage for 500 years, and he's still a loser. Keep your eyes open. Keep your head up. We are in a very dangerous time right now. When they come, we got Jesus on our side. Jesus is always the head, and he's never the tail. Jesus have never lost a battle. If they come, We need to give them everything that we got. To be attacked without a cause is one of the most dishonest things that you could ever do. And then claim that you love God and you accept Jesus as your own personal Savior. We know that those two things can't go together. I have to be honest with you. You got to prepare yourself, because one day the battle of Armageddon is going to come. God promised it. The day of Armageddon is going to come. The Bible said, be ye always ready. That's in every aspect. It's coming sooner than what we think. Thank you.